So, if you've recently lost a loved one, you're probably hearing a lot about probate court. But what is probate court and what does it actually do? And how can it affect your family's finances? Those questions we're going to answer and a few more. Let's talk. So, first off, if you did lose a loved one, my condolences. I understand what you're going through in this difficult time. This time in 2024, in September, I lost my mom, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. My wishes would be that no one could actually, they would have to experience that, but unfortunately, it's life, and we can't escape it. But we can be informed of what's going to happen next. So we'll talk about a few things in this video. Stick with me. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. My name is Rob Moore, aka Real Estate Rob. And if you are looking to buy or sell a home here in the Triangle, I'm your guy. Feel free to reach out. My contact information is in the description. I am only a phone call, text, or email away. Now, let's jump into this video. So what is probate court? Probate court is a specialized court, and it handles and distributes the assets of a deceased person. Period. What could happen is they will usually freeze the assets of the deceased. They will pay taxes. They will pay creditors, and then they'll distribute the rest of the funds to the family. And also, they'll determine if a will exists and the validity of the will. And they'll also choose an executor and someone to actually distribute the assets as well. So there's another question I've been asked, and that is, can probate court freeze the deceased person's assets? The answer is yes. And more than likely they will until the probate process has completed. They do this to make sure that there's no charges on the deceased person's accounts, that no one's trying to sell their property or take items that don't belong to them. I can tell you from experience, I've had a client and their mom too passed. Now, throughout his entire life, family was cool, cordial, and so forth. But once mom passed, he told me it was an absolute living headache, and I had to witness what he was going through. He had his sister that would show up to the property and just try to take stuff out of the home. They were also trying to list the home before it even touched probate. The minute she died, pretty much, they were in her bank accounts trying to take out her money. That's just not how it works. That's why probate court can help. I mean, they literally can, even if you don't want them in your business. So I've also been asked, what happens if I skip probate court? Just like I would tell anybody, you can. I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do if you're an adult, 18 and up, as long as it makes sense. But there is consequences. And in this case, if you don't show up to probate court, you have creditor claims, you have the legal process, and also family disputes that will take things even further. You see, if you were already on orange with your family members arguing back and forth about your mom, your dad's, your cousin's property, you're probably going to take it into red real quick by not showing up to court like you're supposed to. So, can you not show up to court? Sure. Should you show up to court? Yes. So here's another thing that probate court does. It establishes, in fact, that a will does exist. So, for instance, most people that I know that I've spoken to as I was growing up thought because there was a will, they could somehow avoid probate. That's just not true. You see, in most cases, the property will still have to go through probate. All of the deceased person's assets will still have to go through probate. A will does not solve anything other than who the executor is. But then again, the probate court also verifies that as well. So there are ways you can protect, well, the deceased person can protect their assets through a trust and a POD. We'll talk about that in other series. But those are just a couple of ways that they could protect their property. I would recommend anyone speak to a real estate attorney. You see, I'm not qualified to give advice, so I'm not giving advice. I'm just stating things that, in my opinion and through my career, I've heard of individuals doing. Protecting their property through a trust. Okay, and also, a trust isn't the only way you can protect the deceased person's assets. You can be joint owners. But again, I'm not giving you advice. Consult a lawyer. So here's a common misconception I've heard about probate as well, is that somehow that probate only pertains to rich individuals or people that are wealthy. That's just not true. Probate pertains to anyone that's deceased has assets in their name. All right, guys, so probate is not just a court process, it's a financial roadmap after death. All right, guys, thank you for joining me today. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. I appreciate it. So, in my last video, I talked about some of the best places to downsize in, mainly between Cary, Apex, and Holly Springs. We highlighted some of the amenities and the different style homes that each town has, and also the different price points. If you want to watch that video, you can do that because that video is coming up next.